Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me here today. If you're new, I'm Amanda. Welcome to the channel where we are all about shattering the mental health stigma. Normally around here, I do song reactions pertaining to mental health. I do vlogs sharing my own mental health experiences. I interview celebrities about their mental health experiences, and every now and then I weigh in on different topics. Now this one has proven to be a little bit difficult for me because while there has been a lot of emotion surrounding it, I just wasn't sure how to approach it. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, please make sure you make sweet love to that subscribe button, give the bell a few kisses because you don't want to miss any of this content designed to help you with your mental health or help you help someone else. One of the most crucial things that I learned during my mental health journey is the value of responding versus reacting. Now, when the decision was announced on Friday to overturn Roe v. Wade, it kicked up some really intense emotions and thoughts and feelings for me. And I thought that I was just going to explode if I didn't have the opportunity to say my piece. However, I know from experience that reacting to intense emotions rarely results in anything positive. Thus, my goal was to be able to regulate them enough so that I could channel them and respond in a productive way. Unlike the videos that I typically do where I react to songs and clips in order to raise awareness for mental health, this video is going to be a response. Now, my stances on abortion from an ethical or judicial standpoint are irrelevant. What is relevant for me right now is the mental health backlash. It's worth mentioning before I continue that yes, abortion can take a heavy emotional toll on a woman or others involved with this decision. I've seen this countless times with women of varying faiths, some pro-choice, some pro-life. I have seen this mentally cripple otherwise stable women, and I've seen women break down decades after their abortion. This ruling and the unavoidable chatter around it might, in fact, be really triggering for post-abortive women. The fact that an abortion can cause psychological harm, though, does not dismiss or invalidate the experiences of those struggling after Roe being overturned. This is a profound change that will have a direct, major personal impact on 50.8% of the American population, a change that was thrust on them with little time to prepare or adjust. Now, any such change, regardless of the specifics, is going to cause panic because it is a loss and it requires a grieving process. The problem is that while this could be a catalyst for both sides to find common ground and find compromise, it instead is inciting more mutual contempt. Look, I have people close to me in both camps, and I have a history, personally, professionally, and politically, on both sides. But I want to take a moment today to give perspective from a mental health standpoint of both the pro-choice and the pro-life mindset as it pertains to a post-Roe world. Let's begin with the pro-choice side. While sadness and confusion seem to be evident, the dominating emotion seems to be anger. But anger isn't a primary emotion. It's triggered by something else. In many cases, this one included, I believe that to be fear. Though there are a few out there pro-choicers who believe that abortion should be available until the day of birth and who are frivolously having unprotected sex, those individuals are in the vast minority. Many people previously had sex for enjoyment or as an expression of love with a partner with no desire to have a child, whether indefinitely or temporarily. Most of these individuals take measures to prevent pregnancy, and abortion to them might have been seen as a security blanket of sorts. Now these people have to choose between the potential of a pregnancy that they don't want or being celibate for life because now sex is like an acrobat without a safety net. Low odds of falling, but now the consequences are pretty severe in that small percentage. Of course, it is frightening and frustrating to be forced to suppress your natural urges and to relinquish something that made you happy. A healthy sex life is the cornerstone of a long-term, happy, healthy relationship. On top of that, in many states, rape just became more terrifying, as being one of the 1 in 6 women that experience it now carries the risk of a pregnancy that you are forced to carry and a lifetime of being connected to your attacker, as they are often still granted parental rights. Seeing as how rape is often a power play, these new laws might have the horrifying side effect of being an incentive for rapists who can now have even more power over their victim. Certainly anyone can understand the fear behind the implication that our whole worlds can be turned upside down at any moment against our will. There's also fear of limited options should complications come up in a wanted pregnancy. Fear of this eliminating the option of IVF for couples who are unable to conceive naturally. Fear that this could limit accessibility to birth control and emergency contraception options. Fear of the future of a child put up for adoption. Fear that this court decision could set a precedent, leaving families destroyed if the court decides to go after overturning gay marriage next. That is a lot to come to terms with and mentally sort out. Now let's take a look at the pro-life side. While there are extremists that think women's only role is to be barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen, your average pro-lifer simply acknowledges that an embryo or fetus is a separate living entity, albeit reliant on the woman for survival. They believe that it has inherent value, thus deserves inherent protection. They don't hate women or want them to suffer. They simply value the life of the embryo or fetus over the convenience of the woman. They are now targets, though, of massive amounts of hatred and even violence, fueled by the aforementioned anger, spawned by the aforementioned fear. Crisis pregnancy centers have been bombed, individuals attacked, and their families threatened. And all this is doing is perpetuating a divide as well as just increasing an atmosphere of fear. As someone who values control over my life and my choices, and as someone who massively struggles with big changes, I empathize with the pro-choicers. As someone who understands as a vegan what it's like, though, to see the value of a life that most other people see as worthless, and to have this deep drive and this deep conviction to protect that life, and to know what it's like to have people hate you or mock you or belittle you, I empathize with the pro-lifers. But again, which side I stand on is completely irrelevant. Instead, I want to share some mental health affirming actions that could be beneficial for both sides in a post-Roe world. Number 1 is empower people. First of all, you don't need someone else to accomplish physical pleasure, and you don't need someone else to validate you. You are amazing regardless of your relationship status, regardless of your sexual history, and you can reach toe-curling heights all by yourself. Second, self-defense shouldn't be this optional thing that we throw our kids into or that we take once a week as a fitness class. It should be something that we start teaching in PE at a young age so that kids can cultivate respect, focus, confidence, and an ability to defend themselves throughout their lives. Number 2 is move away from the hookup culture. You know what I struggled with more than anything else when I was trying to date in this generation, in this day and age? The fact that hooking up is now expected. And I don't do hookups, so that presented a huge challenge for me. This narrative, though, really just makes dating feel super transactional. I have zero ethical dilemma with the idea of sex for pleasure, and I don't judge anyone who engages in that. But staying casual means denying the very normal human desire for emotional intimacy. Not being able to express your true feelings or to have emotions, crushes, our self-esteem, because it's sending the message that not only are these feelings and emotions wrong, but there's something to be ashamed of, when being comfortable expressing our feelings and expressing our emotions is crucial to optimal mental health. Your self-worth shouldn't be defined by whether or not you are dating or sleeping with someone. Sex exists for fun. Sex exists for procreation. Sex does not exist to feed someone else's ego. Number 3 is free birth control, free emergency contraception, free vasectomies, and free hysterectomies. Well, yes, these things do pose their own mental health risks, and that should be openly discussed and thoroughly explored. This allows individuals to maintain their bodily autonomy, massively reduces the risk of pregnancy if someone is raped, and of course, lowers abortion rates. They allow individuals to reap the benefits of a healthy sex life with their partner without this constant underlying anxiety or stress. Insurance companies should not be able to deny them. The cost should not be greater than the down payment on a house. And doctors should not be able to deny women because they don't trust them that they're not going to regret it in the future. Number 4 is addressing rape culture. There are countless convicted rapists that were never sentenced to jail time, but there was a homeless man who was convicted to 3 to 6 years for using a counterfeit 20 to buy food and toothpaste. Rape kits are routinely destroyed without any investigation being done, and survivors are often blamed for the way they dressed or whether or not they chose to drink alcohol. We teach not to get raped instead of not to rape. Pressure needs to be put on the system to take this abhorrent crime more seriously, and the dialogue around rape desperately needs to change. Number 5 is more helpful pro-lifers. Shoving a picture of an aborted fetus in someone's face is creepy, and it could be very traumatic for them for a plethora of reasons. Standing on a sidewalk dressed as the Grim Reaper is freaking deranged. But you know what else these tactics are? Ineffective. One of the biggest names in the pro-life movement, Abby Johnson, agrees, and she started her own organization called Loveline, which helps women in crisis pregnancy, helps single moms, sometimes single dads, married couples with their bills, with their medical expenses, with legal expenses, with counseling, therapy, mental health. They meet them where they are and help them so that they are empowered to make another choice if that's what they want to do. Because I have seen countless people who end up turning to abortion because they feel cornered into it. They feel like that's the only choice they have because of the circumstances that they're in. And I think both sides can agree that that's something that should never happen, because that's not really giving a woman a choice at all. The truth is, we live in an era where information is a lot more available and options are a lot more accessible. Like RU486, the abortion pill, is available by mail, and organizations like Elevated Access are helping women with travel expenses to go out of state to obtain procedures. The pro-life landscape is also shifting to focus more on helping women and providing resources for women in crisis pregnancies as opposed to the scare tactics of the past. No matter what side you're on, no matter what you believe, no matter what choice you want to make, there are people on both sides who will love you and support you and help you and have your back and will care about you no matter what, regardless of these changes that are coming about as a result of Roe v. Wade being overturned. It's okay to feel angry, confused, shocked, saddened, or whatever else might come up for you, but it's not okay to verbally or physically attack another person. It's not going to change their mind, it's not going to help you heal, and it's not going to address the problems at hand. What we should be doing is finding positive ways to channel these emotions so that we can respond instead of react. I always encourage you to share your mental health stories here in the comments, because we shatter stigmas by talking openly about things. But I want to extend that today to also include your abortion stories, your adoption stories, your parenting stories, your journeys in those realms as well, because I want you to know that you have a safe place to share and heal here without judgment. Please share this video so that people can have a different perspective on something that is bringing about a lot of fear and a lot of emotions in response to that fear. So please make sure that you share this video, give it a thumbs up, and I love you guys so much. Mwah.